the whole year, and yet not always getting the credit, perhaps that they are due, for how good this team has been.
And Clutch, it's been a rough one so far this spring, but if there's any sort of team that can kind of knock Team Liquid down a single peg here in the game, it is someone as volatile as Clutch. We've seen like the likes of the Aurelia, which is banned away from Piglet. Also Cassio for Huni, who is typically but also good for Demonte, will be taken off the board as well.
Those are two really big bans, so I do think it is very intelligent that Kane and Dodo are showing the respect over to Clutch, because almost all of Clutch's success recently has been through playing Aurelia bot. They're actually 3-0 on the pick. Huni also picking up a pair of wins on the Cassio, 2-0 on that. So certainly now Clutch has to show us that they are able to play more non-standard bot lanes if they want to continue playing that style, because I think almost everyone will agree Clutch has looked by far at their best when they are doing that. The question remains, can Piglet play something like a Yasuo that can kind of plug and play in to a similar role that the Aurelia has taken for them?
You can see that Clutch just kind of kept it standard. TK, Kai'Sa, and LeBlanc are their bans, so they could actually take Lissandra first pick, a champion that has seen a decent amount of play, but maybe hasn't been quite as popular, at least in this phase of the draft. I think once upon a time, earlier in the split, she was taken over almost everything. Still very powerful, although some of that has been toned down, but a very safe and flexible pick, if nothing else.
Early Alistar makes me think that, hey, maybe there is a possibility of still it being something like a Yasuo in the bot lane if they feel the rest of the draft is appropriate for it. Vulcan, though, just in general, he has been a monster on the Alistar. This is most played by far, 7 games throughout the split. I think he has had the most standout highlights on this of any support player in the league. Has really been on fire with some of his mechanical plays using the cow.
Also adding some more flexibility here for Clutch. They do take Rise, which either Demonte or Huni, or honestly Piglet, could take it. I have seen Rise bot from Piglet a long time ago. Certainly a player that's been around long enough to play a variety of different champions and roles. It looks like Liquid will keep it safe and standard here, hovering Rek'Sai right now for Xmithie. One of the players, I believe, in top 5 all-time plays on this champion in the LCS.
Yeah, he's certainly a guy who has played it a lot throughout his career. It will be interesting to actually see how he's going to be able to perform on it, because so far this season it's been all about the Lee Sin for him. Pretty much any time Lee Sin is up, he grabs it. He has an absolute ton of plays on it, but all time 39 plays on the Rek'Sai, his second most, just behind the Gragas. So certainly very comfortable on it, and Braum down in the bot lane there for CoreJJ.
I think Team Liquid know that Clutch are the team that they're expecting something a little different from. I think Team Liquid have kind of proven all split that we're good enough players, we understand the game. If we just play solid, it's very difficult to beat us. So the crowd are upset that it's not that spicy, but at least not a champion we see too often.
Nope, the second pick of the season, though, for Lyra. He brought it out once earlier on. And I do think that it is the sort of style of champion that you want to see him playing. Something that when you think of Lyra at his best, it fits in that kind of niche, right? It is about him being aggressive, him taking over games, being able to snowball. That is always where we have seen Lyra at his best. This is a fair bit of AP so far, though, drafted up for the team. We'll see if they want to have this Rise top bot or mid. As you said, it certainly is a champion that has the ability to be flexed around, and Jinx and Ezreal taken off the table. Jinx, I think, certainly coming more back into the meta. We've seen Wild Turtle bringing it out a couple times. Also, if you are going to try to play something very aggressive in the bot lane, you don't want to be giving over Ezreal. Ezreal, especially into something like a potential Yasuo, Aurelia, and those sorts of picks, is very, very safe. Can build the Iceborne Gauntlet for some early armor, and feel pretty comfortable farming out any of those sort of styles.
I'm curious, because there's a Gangplank ban from Liquid, and if Clutch don't take... Okay, they did it. I was going to say, if they don't take Lucian, what is their plan? But clearly they're just saying, you know what, Double If, we'll try and push you back as far as we can on champions, and they'll just give Piglet the marks on. Although they could move these around as well.
Yeah, certainly the ability to flex this around. I mean, Huni was the one who made Lucian popular, but I do think that it is going to be just Piglet playing the Lucian down in the bot lane. Certainly is a pick that he does like. He's gotten a hold of it one time. We get the Vayne from Double Lift. Let's go.
Can only ban so many champions.
And this is something that we've seen come out around the world a little bit. Uzi recently playing it against Fun Plus, one of the top teams there. We actually saw Ruler using it to take down Griffin. Double Lift now going to take a crack at it here. The Double Lift Vayne was something that had been really known as one of his best champions for a long time, and now going to get to show it one more time. This is very likely Lissandra top now. This is going to be flexed up there. They bring the Syndra to the mid lane, so pretty cool stuff. We'll see how Impact does perform on the Lissandra, but I feel like that is very much his style of champion. Though it is not a pure tank, it is still something that is more of a pseudo frontliner, which I believe fits well in Impact's kind of style of play.
Yep.
He is someone that uses teleports incredibly well, engages incredibly well, manages space and team fights incredibly well, and that should suit him really quite all right. This is going to be triple AP topside, though, for Clutch. Looking like it'll be Ryze top, Orianna mid. So pretty atypical stuff here coming out. There is no real tank on the top side that can kind of, or even melee champion who can kind of build into an early Hex Drinker or anything along those lines. But I certainly think we're going to have to see Doublelift grabbing something along the lines of an early QSS. Maybe Smithy grabs an early Hex Drinker, I think, which is going to be very effective. Going up against a lot of these guys, there's a tremendous amount of CC there too, so things like Merc Treads will be very, very valuable for the TL squad, but all eyes are going to be on this bottom lane. Lucian versus Vayne, Piglet versus Doublelift, going to be hype.
It's very curious to see that Piglet basically maneuvered himself to a point where he said, you know, I want to play marksman against you. I want to play one of my best marksmen. I want to play your most played champion ever against you. And Doublelift has answered the call with Vayne, which is a very exciting pick here in the bot side. So Clutch have decided to play more standard versus Team Liquid. We'll see if that works out for them here, but whatever happens, it will be quite explosive.
Yeah, it really will. I'm very excited for this one, and we'll see if they can hold on. You know, if Clutch can take a win here, they are certainly in such a rough position as the playoff race does go. They need to grab every win they possibly can here.
Certainly do, and we don't need to repeat how tough their schedule is. Clutch just have to focus on one game at a time. But if they could take down Liquid, not only would they potentially upset things towards the top of the standings and push themselves to much needed wins they need for playoffs, but you have to feel if you can beat Liquid, the momentum is massive for a team like Clutch.
Yeah, definitely the case, and they do have a pretty cool lineup to do it. Huni, has been very successful playing a lot of these mages top lane, playing things like the Rumble, like the Casio. That has really enabled him to be very, very successful, and he is in a range versus range matchup in the top lane. If Huni can get a big edge here for the squad, that may be a way in.
Well, before we get to the rest of this game, we are going to throw it down to Overly, who had a talk with Dodo.
Thanks, guys. Dodo, a lot of people are excited to see Doublelift on this Vayne. What did he have to say or do to convince you to let him play it today?
He just said, pick me Vayne and I'll carry. But for more serious reasons, I think Vayne's a really strong pick right now, and Doublelift was definitely confident in this pick, so we let him just be confident, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, Dodo, thank you, and best of luck to you. Back to you guys.
I'm not surprised to hear Doublelift was confident in himself. I don't think anyone is surprised to hear that. But it is a pretty tough comp, I think, for him to play into. Ryze, often pinpointed as one of the real difficult champions to play into as a Vayne, because it is that point-and-click CC. You can't be tumbling around and invisible when you're actually just rune prisoned, rooted up. And you see that there is the combo coming in from Alistar. There is obviously a Cocoon that can be hit there by Lyra. So he's going to have to be really good at actually dodging and avoiding a lot of the CC coming through if he wants to be able to survive. But that being said, Vayne is an incredibly strong champion these days. I always kind of pinpoint, I think that the 2-item power spike is really where Vayne is just going to start lighting you up. Blade of the Rune King into Rage Blade is really the most popular standard build these days that you're seeing in solo queue. And when you do have those 2 items, Silver Bolt's proccing every 2 autos just becomes an incredible amount of damage. You can absolutely shred through anyone.
Well, I'm sure wherever you're watching, you're excited to see Doublelift's Vayne, so make sure you're tagging at LOL Esports with your viewing setup on Instagram with the hashtag HowILCS so we can see how you're checking out your favorite teams. Go Vayne spotting in real life. Get them all on Instagram.
Yeah, well, Doublelift hoping to not be caught Vayne spotting this one, but we'll see how it's going to go. There is kind of a bit of a collapse coming through from the Orianna and Elise over towards this Scuttle. Vulcan making the move here too, but we'll see if they want to fully commit to fighting for this. Smithy does have the knock-up and will be able to grab it.
Yep, Smithy, Crab Whisperer, just lures it away to the right-hand side of the map and is able to get it. But a lot of attention for that early jungle. Vic Smithy's looking mid. Demonte, ooh, gonna get knocked up clutch after the Praise Seeker. That will force the Summoner trade.
Really nice job, though, from Smithy. He hits level 3 off of that route. who is able to actually go red to Krugs to scuttle, so he gets the early 3. With that, he forces the flash out of Damonte. He's going to get the top lane scuttle as well. So really nice early pathing, and it's a great start. We'll see, though, if Lyra can kind of return something back here, as he has snuck around, I think, a fair bit of this vision. I'm not sure if TL are aware that he's down here. And we'll see if they want to try to go for any sort of crazy dives. Vulcan does have Aftershock, so they're looking to try to set this up.
Oh, Lyra just missed, but they are going to still go. Here's the TP in, but W8D1, they want to try and take down the Vayne as soon as they can. He is ignited, there is first blood, and it will go over to Lyra, but here's Impact with a double root into the double stun by Jensen. TL answer in kind, and that's Jensen's 1,000th kill.
1,000 kills for Jensen in the regular season, one of the most successful mid laners of all time here in North America. Still crushing it in the LCS. And what an explosive way to do it. We talked about the TPs from Impact and how this sort of style of champion can suit him. And he's going to be able to have a great TP here. We'll see this started up one more time. The Cocoon does miss, which gives you some hope that, hey, maybe TL can outplay it. Flashing the combo, but Vulcan saving the knockup. He was just using the headbutt, knowing that could be flash. Follows with the flash for the knockup there on Doublelift. Piglet and Lyra able to finish him off, but the response is there because that was such a fast TP from Impact, and Jensen having lane priority because he had the flash forced out on his opponent by Smithy, put them in a great position to respond and get 2 kills back.
Important to note, Jensen did have to flash to set up that play, so neither mid laner has their flash right now, but well worth it for the roam that Jensen and Impact were able to pull off. And Doublelift, sure, he died, but picks up 2 assists. Seems just fine right now.
Exactly. It's not like it was Piglet getting first blood on the Lucian and then, okay, well, now you're screwed in the 1v1. No, that situation didn't happen whatsoever. Lyra got the kill, but Smithy is way ahead in the farm, so the gold advantage is not really there. That's not a very big deal. Farm even in that bottom lane, and as long as the Vayne is farming even, you're going to always feel really good about your chances going forward into that mid and late game.
Certainly so. As you can see, longswords everywhere here in the bot lane as Doublelift and Core are trying to get things pushed up towards the turret. Checking in with the rest of the map real quick. Mooney has that tier, so getting ready to stack up and try and shove out the waves. Did also TP, I assume, back to lane though.
Yeah, and credit to Impact. I mean, the fact that he had the wave fully pushed up, he TP'd away from lane, his opponent TP'd back to lane. He's down 7 CS with 3 more to actually farm, so really that's not a big deal whatsoever. And Impact, already having a great start to this game, and now no flash on Damonte.
Surprise! Smithy does have Conqueror, does proc there, but no one else to follow up as he walks back towards his jungler for safety.
But you can see in the mid lane, Jensen is actually setting up a freeze, so Doublelift should be able to walk out. It was a nice little trade, but Smithy is actually zoning Damonte off, and it's a freeze in the mid lane there for Jensen, so he's denying farm from Damonte. Damonte has to walk the long way around, and now Smithy gonna run into Lyra here.
Cocoon, Rek'Sai actually taking a little too much damage. Can they find the rest of the follow-up? Rappel down. Vulcan looking for something, but he doesn't have flash to really find a combo with, so Clutch will not be given any kills in. Will they dive again, though?
This would be risky, but they're gonna go for it.
Yeah, they are in there. Piglet looking to try and get the kill. Doublelift will fall again. Vulcan this time able to grab the kill. Lyra ignited, but that's not enough.
Yeah, well done there from Clutch. They are committed to keeping Doublelift down on this Vayne. 2 deaths on him pre-7 minutes is pretty strong, and this time Clutch doesn't lose anyone in the exchange. Able to make that very aggressive dive right in the face of 3 members because Doublelift was chunked down, because they had that early trade that worked out quite well for them. So this one will give them a bit of an edge.
Ooh,
nice stop.
Cancelled. Piglet a little too far. We'll run into a control ward now, and looks like he'll take that out before heading back home. Damonte finally getting the wave pushed back in. Looks like Jensen recalled, so the freeze has been broken, but...
Yeah, but it's a cannon wave, so Jensen really loses nothing on that. He loses 1 melee minion, and then is going to be able to farm up this wave. He's going to end up plus 10 or so CS probably off the exchange, as he can shove in this next wave very quickly because that is not a cannon wave. So these little pressures that Smithy has put on, as well as some really nice minion wave management from Jensen, does result in an advantage for the mid lane, results in the early push, means Jensen can roam down to this Infernal as well. As you see, those minions are crashing in that mid lane turret. So this is all very well done here for TL.
Yeah, 16 up right now, so watch as Damonte collects whatever he does, and that's basically your CS lead. Infernal Drake over to Team Liquid as Smithy was able to solo that down pretty much. So Team Liquid doing well. Gold is pretty even thanks to the 2 kills Clutch have gotten on Double Lift. And now with that Bilgewater Cutlass quickly moving towards the Blade of the Ruin King for Piglet, it does feel like the dives will not stop. Because I think if you commit to trying to camp this Vayne, you have to really commit to it.
Yeah, they really do have to do that. And it's been these small, subtle things that have been really important so far this game. It's been pretty interesting to watch. Even Smithy stopping the recall on Piglet allows Doublelift to actually reset and grab his own Bilgewater without losing more minions really here, besides maybe a couple. So some nice little plays have had a pretty big impact. And he's just resetting the blue buff there.
Oh no!
Blue buff gets angry, will angrily waddle back to the pit. I swear, you do that one more time.
Just one shots in. We're going to take the grump. Looks like the blue will now be donated over. But Jensen having some fun, I suppose. As Impact is getting damage down onto this turret. Is Aftershock Lysandra, which we see a lot in both solo lanes. And that demolish enough to give Impact that turret plate.
Yeah, going to be able to probably grab a second here as well. Huni can't really walk forward. And you can see even just triggering that vision plant is like, yep, he's still here. Because Huni will have noticed that. So that alone means he can't walk forward because he doesn't know where Smithy is.
Now Damonte under attack again. Takes some damage back. Shockwave committed. Damonte really wants to chunk him down there.
And you can see as soon as he showed mid, Huni walked straight back to the turret. But that was 2 turret plates down, and the CS evened out. When Impact was down 10+ farm, you know, kind of before that. So these pressures that Smithy has been putting on, despite the fact that he's 0-0-0, have actually been very, very impactful. So having a solid game here so far on the Rek'Sai.
So 2 plates for Clutch now in the bottom side. And the CS lead for Piglet's looking pretty nice. That's about 20. Although with a wave to come, maybe call it 15. Impact and Huni continuing to battle back and forth, but not sure too much is going to happen without jungler intervention. So just some potion charges burnt and some mana pools diminish.
I'm going to be interested to see what the full build is actually from Impact as well. You know, you had seen a lot of mid laners kind of skipping a mana item and going straight into things like Proto Belt. That sort of style of play, but you know, certainly some of the mana nerfs on Lysandra in the last couple patches ago have hurt a little bit. So may just be straight Ludens into Zonias or something along those lines, and you know, trying to kind of maintain the wave clear to match against Ryze, who is going to be building a lot of mana and certainly can keep spinning out those spells.
And also holding his lead here in mid, gets yet another wave to crash toward. As Damonte will move back to scoop that up. Has had to go for Merc Treads though, for the threat of stuns out of Jensen. Does also have the cleanse, but just generally respecting the one-shot potential of Syndra.
Yeah, exactly. There's also Braum stun. There's, you know, obviously the ult and the root from Lysandra. There's a lot of kind of CC that you have to worry about later on. Plus a lot of mid laners just really put a lot of value in the move speed itself to be able to not only reduce Scatter the Weak the stun there, but just be able to dodge out on some of those skill shots.
Doublelift also with some free time here is going to stay for a little bit of plate damage. Vayne is pretty good in these situations, so there is a plate over. Stays for a bit of extra damage as well here, but with Lucian returning with his now finished Blade of the Ruin King, matchup's going to tip once more. 2 plates so for Doublelift has to feel good.
Yeah, and he's actually really close to actually completing his own Blade of the Ruin King, so may be able to get it. We'll see if he wants to kind of sell an item to actually buy that up, or if he even needs to. You know, with the 2 plates, CS is very, very even, so going to be feeling pretty good about that. And that was just Clutch kind of being punished on a recall timing there. But Doublelift does get his base interrupted, and this means he's going to be kind of stuck laning, you know, down an item. And now this is why you see Smithy coming down, trying to protect from any potential dive, trying to guard Doublelift so that he can eventually get this recall off and try to retain item parity.
Yep, even though the numbers look even right now, Doublelift has, you know, 1,600 gold just kind of hanging out, being unspent. So see how long it takes him to get this base off. Of course, it's Piglet and Vulcan's job to force them against the turret and not let them base if they can.
Yeah, the problem with that is, you know, Piglet, if he's spending up a lot of that mana, and this is not actually a sorcery Lucian build. He doesn't have mana flow ban, so if you're trying to spam out those spells, you will run out of mana fairly quickly. That is why he bought an early Fairy Charm and was also sitting on Biscuits, you know, having a little bit of extra mana, having a little bit of sustain there. They are moving down 3 members, though, potentially looking to dive for JJ, but Smithy's still staying in the area. They should be able to hang out of this turret, and Doublelift is running back with the Blade of the Ruin King.
Demolish procs though, so another plate over to the Clutch Gaming duo. And as sort of expected, a ton of attention here being paid to bot lane. Clutch do have those few kills. Lyra, though, wrapping around mid. Demonte looking for the shockwave, does not quite land it. Cocoon misses as well. Jensen just casually juking around all the skill shots.
I mean, that's kind of the Jensen trademark. He's so good at these little dodge outs. He knows exactly the ranges that all these spells have. He knows exactly, when to move, which ways to move. He's always been such a hard player to actually hit with skill shots. And certainly, anytime I think of this player, I think of his laning prowess, and I think of his ability to avoid all those skill shots.
And it does feel like some of that has been quietened, given how strong his team is overall. And he's played some different champions in different styles. He's currently getting Cocoon, but does insta-cleanse out and make sure TL can get the Drake for themselves as they do collect the Cloud. But I think, Jensen has somewhat flown under the radar because of the total power of this team, but still has had an excellent season for himself on Team Liquid.
Yeah, and I think also because of his faith in some of his teammates, he doesn't necessarily feel like he needs to press as much, right? He's saying, well, yeah, I have Doublelift on my team. It's okay if I don't take a risky fight to try to look for a solo kill because I know...
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, as you see PTA proc, Braum stun proc, and Silverbolt proc all in the same auto there, and that is what that huge chunk is coming from. Piglet now in some danger here.
Doublelift. He wants it. He wants to just shoot him a few more times. As you can see, the plate gold actually ended up even, despite the early pressure out of Clutch.
Yeah, and the fact that it's TL that has taken both of the dragons when they're the ones with the Vayne against the Lucian also speaks to how well things are going. And Demonte, here is a Smithy again.
Let's have his sums. There's the ulti from Jensen. Far too late for Demonte to flash.
Yep, he flashes, but the ult was already off, and Smithy still had the Rek'Sai ultimate available, even if he didn't die to that. So certainly more than enough to overkill him. Now they're going to just take the Rift Herald. TL really playing this very textbook. They're protecting Doublelift enough so that matchup is stabilized. They're taking all the neutral objectives. Smithy just seems to be able to pressure mid lane with ease every time he walks by Demonte. It feels like Demonte has to give him more than Smithy is spending. So really you're seeing the prowess of TL and Smithy as a jungler.
Have to agree, as Piglet's still in trouble once again. Blade of the Ruined King used for a bit of extra distance to create away from Core JJ. Rift Herald, though, does go down. Smithy will collect the eye. They're going to roam down, but should be able to tunnel to safety. Does get out. And now Jensen just shoving down the minions once again back into the turret. Continuing to build that CS lead. Has the Ludens already finished alongside the Source Shoes, so very strong on this Syndra as well.
Really is, and there's going to be a tremendous amount of magic damage burst coming out from this TL team that you're also going to have to respect on the side of Clutch. If you do not have Cleanse, if you do not have QSS, you get ulted by Impact, who has a Ludens, and Lissandra's going to put a lot of upfront damage, and then you get ulted by Jensen, you're probably just dead from full, right? So that is a tremendous amount of damage from these two players that are both sitting on Ludens plus some pieces, and that is something you're going to have to be really worried about, especially in combination with the burst damage and execute that's on the Rek'Sai ultimate. So they really do have some powerful dive and a lot of CC to boot.
You can see Huni, though, is not without trying to make some waves happen here in the top lane. He does have his stuff charging up, does have his Merc Treads also finished, and Ryze is a threat that develops pretty consistently as the game goes on.
Yeah.
So every time Impact leaves, Huni can potentially just shove down the waves and get structure damage done, or even TP. Try and find a team fight for himself.
And they may go for this. We do know Lyra's over the wall. He could look for some sort of flash cocoon if they feel like they can go for it.
Instantly there from Core JJ. Moves the Guardian over, Unbreakable up, angled a little awkwardly, but Culling doesn't quite connect anyway, so it looked like enough to keep Doublelift safe, and I think that's going to be dive called off for Clutch. Although Lyra now into a different piece of brush. Core JJ checked the first one, but Lyra's already out of there.
He's spending a lot of time around here, and if Doublelift steps up, he could easily die. And we'll see. They know they don't have eyes on this jungler and haven't seen him for quite some time, so this should just be the turret. I think that we'll see Doublelift and them back off, but they are electing to try to act. They're actually just going forward.
Yeah,
wow.
Doublelift in a 1v3. He fancies it. Pump final hour already and forces them away. Does get cocooned, but will protect his turret.
Yeah, I mean, pretty well played because they know the jungler and mid laner are actually roaming down, so he just kind of feigns his strength, goes forward, chunks them out, and Doublelift expends the final hour, but keeps the turret alive, chunks them down, and they now have the ability with Doublelift healing back up to potentially push Clutch off of their own turret.
I mean, with how low Piglet and Vulcan are, this doesn't seem that safe to stay. Core JJ still with his ulti.
Yeah, I agree.
Demolisher's up. They're going to proc it and just try and take the turret down first. Not quite enough time charged up, I don't think. condemn away there onto Vulcan. Doublelift keeping it safe.
Yep, he was trying to actually time the condemn with a potential engage, you know, expecting perhaps the headbutt to come through. One of the things you can do on Vayne is actually buffering your condemn, so when someone is out of range and you're expecting them to flash engage, you put your mouse on them, you press E, if they flash, they'll be instantly condemned, and you can continually cancel that input.
Ulti there also by impact onto Huni, but Huni gonna pop his shield. His Seraphs did transform. Actually feeling pretty good in this 1v1.
Yeah, nicely done from Huni. I mean, he's been trying to eke out these advantages. He's up almost 30 CS, despite, remember, Huni being zoned off of a couple waves thanks to some pressure from Smithy. So Huni's certainly getting the better of Impact in this 1v1, and we'll see. Now that Impact has no ultimate, can Huni actually push him off here?
Smithy also chasing Damonte once more, flashes the shockwave, and there's Jensen finds the stun, and that's just so easy.
Damonte just getting picked on this game by Smithy and Jensen. Their pressure around mid lane has been so damn good.
Huni!
Oh, the solo kill potentially.
Look for the Q, misses the second one, and he's dead! Impact dodges everything, and Huni can't quite finish off the duel.
Huni was pressing. He feels the need to get something done up there. His team is falling behind, to be fair. But he had a 30+ CS advantage before that. Instead, misses the Qs, takes too many tower shots. He gets solo killed by Impact, who will now even be able to get some damage down on the turret himself and potentially even take that down. That's all 3 turrets falling within the span of about 30 seconds there. TL now 4,000+ gold ahead, double Infernal, add in the Wind Dragon as well, and oh my god, they were in full control of this one.
This play, though, was real slick by Smithy.
Yep, he spotted him with the Tremor Sense, walking through, saw him on the ward as well, flashes out of range of the ultimate pull-in, you know, that shockwave, and then gets the knock-up, finishes him off.
Oh my
goes in
goodness.
with the Realm Warp, and it looked like the initial play was going to work.
Ooh, what a flash.
Yeah, that flash was so good from Impact. Misses 2 more Qs. Huni just really felt like that's one of those plays where the initial play doesn't work, and you're like, no, screw it, I have to get this guy. I gotta kill him. Does not work out for him, though. He gets killed off, and now this is Impact on 2 items. Sitting pretty. Huni's advantage, really, there's nothing there. Despite being up in farm, there's a couple kills on the side of Impact, so he's ahead in gold.
Yep, and now Team Liquid, in general, up 4,000 gold here in this game. Have Doublelift closing in pretty quickly on his Rage Blade, and who transfer to top lane to try and get the minions over here as Huni's back down to the bot lane to try and finish off that tower.
This is actually pretty interesting from Piglet, seeing the BF picked up on top of pieces of what is likely a rapid fire. So I'm not sure if he's just going to be going straight into an IE here now and sitting on those pieces, or if he just had 1,300 gold and wanted the additional AD, and then we'll still finish the shiv, then go IE. But this is not going to be the standard kind of Blade of the Rune King Black Cleaver style build. This is a more heavily scaling, higher DPS build that he is going to be going for, and it's certainly a lot less typical to see it.
Tell that both teams, though, are staying very active around the map. Lyra does get spotted there. Smithy has done an exquisite job all game long, pressuring lanes and tracking everyone on the clutch side.
And I think the build is smart from Smithy as well, right? He did make that pit stop that we talked about in Champ Select for a Hex Drinker. You know, I think grabbing that against the Elise, Ryze, Orianna is going to be very intelligent. And we can see Locket going to be built up here from Core JJ. You know, that is going to really help against any potential burst. And likely we'll see a 3rd item QSS from Doublelift. Would not be surprised to see even more kind of put into the magic resistance after that. You can go for things like Wit's End or even a Maw. I think that can be a pretty strong way to go, as they really aren't going to need to do more DPS.
Ulti there, Smithy again just hunting members of Clutch Gaming. He'll grab a 2nd kill for himself.
Yeah, Doublelift in the 1v3 here.
Yep, looking to take down Piglet, flashes out of the way. Has the Scuttle Crab, but there's splash order from Piglet to finish it off.
Does end up trading, you know, 2 summoners for 3, so a good attempt there from Doublelift trying to battle back, but Clutch are the ones that do get the pick. And
ooh, denied by Jensen. Now Lyra gonna get ulted. Shockwave lands, but only hits Core JJ. Now Damonte in trouble, has to flash out. The ult there from Core won't quite connect. Piglet does grab the turret in top side and moves back towards his teammates as Damonte will get out safely, but Impact still pressuring turrets, will proc demolish once again.
Yep, pressuring this turret, and we saw there's not really any outplay for Huni when you're going to get ulted up and you don't have QSS, you don't have Cleanse. And he just gets locked down by Impact, and Impact plus Smithy have more than enough damage to burst you out. So now it is TL going to be knocking down a mid lane tier 2. full control over this game, and despite the fact that Clutch has a lot of vision around that Baron, they don't really have a lot of ability to actually contest in that area if the numbers are even.
This feels like another clean game from Liquid. Every lane looks good. The lanes that did fall behind have been equalized pretty easily, and this gank, very simple.
There's just no way out for him. There's no outplaying that, honestly. He's going to get locked down, burst out, and then Doublelift in the potential 1v3 here, looking to try to knock down Piglet. Does force out the heal, flashes away from Lear, who flashed, at least getting 3 summoners, so made them work for it, but he does go down. And the Vayne without those summoners can be quite vulnerable. So Rageblade is complete, though, and that is really a scary time for his opponents, because if you can get that Rageblade stacked and you are untouched in a team fight, if you can be rolling around and getting that damage out, every 2 autos for the Silver Bolt proc means you are destroying everyone.
Yep, maybe Doublelift just thinking, you know what? Didn't work last time in the 1v3, but maybe now with the Rageblade finish.
Maybe when you have a QSS, that's what I'll say.
Yeah, that's probably the more obvious one.
Yeah, the MR is just so effective, right? We can see Banshee's Veil grabbed from Jensen as well. They are going for a lot of these optimizations. And it might be a Banshee's Veil as well for Impact, but I do think Zonia is also a fantastic option for him there. As we know how effective that can be to create space for this Lissandra. And now they're kind of moving Impact out into a side lane. They're putting Jensen in the mid lane, and they can have Doublelift in this position where, as you get higher level, you can actually just solo split push. You're picking up more experience, more solo gold, maximizing your farm on this Vayne, who can really handle herself very well north points.
4 straight Drakes as well here for Team Liquid. They continue to mount their advantage. That gold lead is not ballooned too much, but it just feels like they're in so much control of this game.
Yeah.
And it really has been just amazing to watch how good Team Liquid have looked almost all split long. I think back to last year, they had some small slumps in the center of their split. And this time it doesn't even feel like that really happened to them.
TP coming in from behind here.
The double pulverize, they're jumping on, they will take down the Cinder. That's Jensen dead. Ulti there from CoreJJ finds a pretty good set of knockups, and Doublelift is left a free hit here in the front of the fight. An ulti from Impact will steal the rest of the team fight. Damage back down, but I think they'll be able to finish off the kills. Huni does die. That's an ace for Team Liquid.
They get the 5 for 3 there. The Lissandra passive actually getting a lot of work done too, as everyone was stacked up. Jensen got burst out, but here is the play. The TP was coming in from Impact from behind, but Clutch sees it. They turn it. They just absolutely light up Jensen. Getting that kill down was massive, but then Impact AoEing them down. You can see the first man gets knocked down. The Lissandra passives start proccing out. Doublelift is not expecting the damage from Huni, as there was no in between him and Huni is on a death cap. So he turns, he fires, he explodes Doublelift, but a QSS purchased up after that fight means it's going to be harder to get that pick onto Doublelift next time. And if Jensen didn't die at the beginning of that fight, it looks even more one-sided. So certainly, Clutch have got to be very, very careful about tracking Impact, tracking these potential flank wards, as that was a great TP again from Impact, and he's had 2 real bangers this game.
Yeah, top damage in the fight as well, so playing exceptionally on the Lissandra so far. From that first TP to that last flank has really just been great all game long. If there is hope though for Clutch, it is the man in their top lane. Huni on the rise, you mentioned, has that early death cap. Maybe building something like a Void here, so trying to maximize a lot of that DPS. And Ryze is a champion that when left untouched, either in side lanes or in team fights, can win the game for you.
Certainly can, and there is no real true tank to kind of block a lot of the Ryze damage, so it's going to fall a lot on CoreJJ. He has got to be very on point with his positioning, standing in between the Ryze and the Ryze potential target, because we know the Ryze Qs are aligned skill shots, so you cannot hit around someone, so to speak. So you really have to be cognizant about who's actually getting hit up there, because it will be Ryze split pushing in the side lane, but Doublelift with his Rageblade complete, straight onto the Baron, and Vayne can kill this in a hurry.
They know though, and Jensen and Impact also trying to zone out of the way. He's going to start the fight off. Impact again finds the engage on the 2. Cell bolts there. Redemption now for Clutch to try and save themselves. Impact finally dies and actually gets shut down. Now Smithy is caught out on the wrong side. They need their jungler alive with Baron on the table, but he does tunnel out to safety.
Yeah, a lot of bursts coming through there from Clutch, as this time Impact not able to get the Zonias off after the self-ultimate does get burst down. A shutdown for Clutch as the response TP came through from Huni. Well done by them. That could have been the straw that breaks the camel's back, as Clutch potentially could have lost a Baron off that play had it gone well for TL. But they do hold strong. They get a shutdown. They stabilize and buy themselves a little bit more time. So here this is one more time. The reason I question this engage is because if you look how far away Doublelift and Core JJ are, they are not really able to kind of get involved in the fight at all. Doublelift just now is arriving, and there's a culling in his face. He can't really walk forward through that corridor. Impact is already dead, so the opportunity was there for Impact, but the rest of the members could not follow up as quickly. They cannot necessarily get over that wall and get to you that fast, so certainly have to make sure that they're all on the same page when looking for those sorts of fights.
Clutch, though, will be happy to extend the game out a little longer. Actually on the attack right now, looking for this mid lane outer turret. Damonte with the ball in position is always good in a siege, and Piglet putting just enough shots in to take down the turret. Needs one more, does grab it. His impact again, flash root, finds only Damonte, who does get ulti, but he cleanses out of there. Vulcan getting low, he will die to Doublelift, and that's actually absolute rampage there as Huni does take out Core JJ, but there's Lyra getting taken out. Huni now going to get chased down and can't really do too much in some sort of 1v4. Good shot there by Double on the blast cone. He just chases down Huni and grabs the shutdown.
Team Liquid going to be the Baron. They're going to go straight for it. Huge fight from TL, not losing any confidence off that failed engage from Impact before in the topside jungle. Impact nails it this time, catching multiple members as he goes in. Damonte's the only one alive, and they've got Baron pastry.
Well, Damonte not even going to bother.
Yeah.
That will just be Baron over to Team Liquid. So again, that gold lead has stayed somewhat stable despite how ahead TL have been. Don't forget their 4 Drakes as the 5th is coming up in 10 seconds, but add a Baron to that tally, and this gold lead's gonna start to balloon quickly.
It really is. So here it is one more time. Impact out of vision, over the wall, claws in, flash W, catching Damonte, hits the ult onto him, getting that AoE damage through. Zonius comes out, Doublelift is just unleashed, flashing forward, and on the side, in essentially what is a 1v2, 1v1 situation, Smithy does take down Lyra, and then they're able to chase out, take down Huni. You can see Rage Blade fully stacked. Every 2 autos, you will get a Silver Bolt proc, and you will put out insane amounts of damage here. And it's straight to the Mercurial for Doublelift. He knows that MR is going to be very effective, and he's playing it safe, and will be able to be a terror. If they can't burst him down, I don't think Clutch can win a fight.
Now actually sieging onto this turret, usually kind of tough to do with a Vayne, but they're there first and Clutch just no defense to speak of.
Yeah, they'll be able to knock that down very easily, and Smithy over on the side may want to try to get that wave going for them. You can see they're pinging out of the wave, so I think they actually want this bottom wave to split push, and you can see this down here. They're allowing this to stack, and that will kind of push forward on that side of the map, and the hope is that that kind of arrives at the same time as you're pressuring elsewhere, so they can crash at an equal time, and in goes Vulcan with the Realm Orb.
Yep, Vulcan and Huni trying to find a catch, but TL split off from mid lane, and there is no engage to be found for Clutch.
And they now have Impact out in the top lane, so they're definitely not looking to fight right now. They're looking to try to get waves going on 3 lanes, really shove this up, try to utilize that Baron buff as best as they possibly can. They really want to try to maximize the gold lead with this because they have done a fantastic job getting all of those neutral objectives, every dragon, grabbing the Rift Herald, grabbing the Baron, but they want to extend the gold lead to a point where it is now unassailable. And this is their timing here as the Baron buff minions are coming forward. You can see the tier 2 is going to be starting to get sieged by Impact at the same time as they're kind of walking up to this inhibitor tower. And the mid lane has Baron minions coming into.
Clutch do have items in the right places. They've got basically 3 carriers who have 3 items, but it is kind of the issue around the map with this Baron especially that's causing more issues. Huni, though, about the 1v1 impact as he looks to dive under the turret. Here's Xmithy as well, but Huni just flashing out of the way. Xmithy going to get rooted down. They will get the kill. There's the second over to Huni as Clutch able to find a few kills, but Doublelift not done here in bot lane. Does take down the turret. Is rapidly trying to shoot down this inhib, but will not be able to finish it off.
That was not a fight they needed to force as Impact tries to go in, and Huni just outplays them. He had the stopwatch. They weren't even close to taking him down in that 2v1. Huni easily able to survive, and even without all those extra members coming in, I think Huni would have had the 1v2. Look how low Impact is. He's full HP. He pre-stopwatches the flash knock up there from Smithy, and I think Huni had this 1v2. Easy peasy, so well played to him. He has really been the game changer for this Clutch team, but with everywhere else really starting to struggle, it has not yet been enough, and it's another dragon now going the way of TL. 5 dragons to their name before the potential first Elder comes up. They are still in the driver's seat.
Yeah, for all of the strong individual play being showcased by Clutch, but especially by Huni, Team Liquid has built up a lead that looks almost insurmountable for Clutch. And this is a team that does not drop the ball often when they're ahead.
No, they really don't at all. You know, their one loss really was kind of some drafting issues. Also a well-played game by TSM, certainly. But it was that first pick Yorick that really did not work out for them at all. It was also some pretty poor decision-making in the early game that got them quite behind, and TSM had a fantastic game, was able to close that one out. But that is the one blip on the radar really here for TL. It is worth mentioning, though, TL does have a matchup coming up against TSM, who was the one team to beat them, and that is really their toughest opponent remaining, as they have made easy work of pretty much everyone else in the league.
Yeah, it's been a similar story for Team Liquid ever since the franchise era, but this team is just unbelievably good, and it's looking to really shut the door once more on Clutch, who desperately need every win they can claw out of any team's hands. Team Liquid do not give them over kindly, but Huni is making his best possible case to try and carry the game.
I mean, Clutch has to play TL, TSM, C9, and Golden Guardians, if I recall. So, you know, potentially the 4 best teams in the league, you know, depending on who you're going to talk to for that 4th spot, but certainly number 1, 2, and 3 in the standing. So incredibly hard strength of schedule, and they need to be picking up these wins. You have to imagine you probably can't get in the playoffs without at least 8, and even that might not get you there. So, you know, not a lot of ground to give for these teams.
Well, again, they're going to try something here with Vulcan. Realm Warp potentially could be in play. We have the ball for Damonte, able to speed up the cow with some dissonance as well. So Clutch know they have options to try and start fights with. They have damage if they can start good fights, but Liquid are a team that give very few opportunities and create many for themselves. That's kind of why they're the best team in the league. As Baron is back up in 45 seconds, Elder Dragon is spawning in a few minutes, and Team Liquid say, you know what? We did enough damage, no need to rush down for these in-hits just yet. Happy to play it patient and just ride out the rest of the game.
Yep, and Doublelift now sitting on that 4th completed item. He does have an 800 gold bounty, and I want to play safe, not donate that over. With the PD coming through, as well as the Mercurial for that QSS, he's going to have a lot of safety.
Hey, they found Huni. Good pick to try and get, but Vulcan going to keep them out of the way. CoreJJ finds a knockup with a Glacial Fissure, and Doublelift slays him where he stands. Now Vulcan trying to depiece it.
There you go.
The Shockwave finds one, but it's only Impact, and still Doublelift maybe forced back. Jensen with a great stun. Lyra forced to flash out to avoid the spear and certain death.
Yeah, good shockwave from Damonte to stop the additional chase as he pulls in multiple members there, you know, forcing them to respect any potential damage running through that corridor. But it is still a 2-for-1. It is still TL going over to that Baron, and Doublelift can kill this so incredibly fast. This needs CoreJJ or someone to tank it so he doesn't have the damage reduction debuff on him from that Baron. And they are shredding this, but they was spotted out by Clutch, and I don't think TL want to opt into any potential 50-50s at this point.
Just trying for some picks here. Lyra will be seen by the Prey Seeker. Smithy back in over the pit, but I think maybe just clearing some vision rather than starting the Baron up again. Rooney will respawn in 5 seconds, and Vulcan is back out on the map, so Clutch lose a couple, but TL will force them back into the pit.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of the strengths of Vayne as well, right? You really only need Vayne +1 to be able to actually take down this Baron, so the other members can zone, the other members can kind of try to create these zones of control. Huni is going to be TPing over, so they will pull off, and they're looking for a fight.
So far away, Vulcan is low. Impact around the other side again with the flanking. Smithy finds the execute onto Vulcan. Already a 4v5 in favor of Team Liquid. And again, they take the kill, they back off. No need to overforce with the jungler up around something like Baron. Just start it again and force them to come right back around.
Yep, and I mean, they have the bot wave pushing. You can see down in the bot wave, that is pushing up. That's going to be forcing the inhibitor. There's a wave stack here as well. So there is pressure all across the map before they go to this. They have vision in the area. TL have checked all the boxes. We'll see if they want to try to turn and fight here, though. Lyra
There goes Lyra. Nope,
Deal.
can't make his way in. Baron over to Team Liquid. They are very good students, always doing their homework before objectives, Azael.
Yeah, and that's really what you want to see, right? They're taking low risk, high percentage plays. They are getting a lot of out of it. And you know, with the Baron buff, 5 dragons to their name, that inhibitor just barely going to be saved by Piglet as that was pushing in. This Elder is so massive for both teams. Clutch can't really give this over, or the game is probably just 100% done, but at the same time, they have to risk a lot to try to take it, and they get very little reward because they have no dragon stacks to amp it up.
They've already started it too. Huni and Lyra are trying something very sneaky, but did not work out. Instead, Team Liquid will force them to come to the objective. and pick a team fight that Clutch are very unlikely to win. Calling out their engage again. Impact starts it up. Xmithy follows in. Core JJ already taking down Lyra. Impact in the watches. Doublelift leaps over the wall and just shreds Piglet to pieces. That is going to be it, as Huni, the last man standing for Clutch, will buy what time he can in stasis, but the Wizard will fall. That's an ace for Liquid, and they'll rush towards the Dragon / the Nexus.
Yep, Doublelift just going to run it down. This should be able to be an easy closeout. They are staying on the Elder, which makes me feel like they're not 100% sure they can close, but I feel like they can pretty comfortably here. Maybe just kind of trying to add a little bit of style to the substance and close it out.
Believes they can, as he has started shredding down the Nexus turret. He's got no teammates anywhere, but it just doesn't matter. Doublelift on the Vayne, solo ending the game, channels a recall in front of the Nexus just to be a cheeky boy. But that will be it. Team Liquid take down Clutch.
Yeah, they're just styling on him. Grab the Elder, end the game. Why not? Take it all. TL get every neutral objective the whole game through. Every Dragon, Elder, Rift Herald, Baron, and they were in full control of this one. Very impressive showing once again. Have to give a lot of credit, I think, to Xmithy, who was so good with the pressure he was putting on specifically around mid lane, but really covering the side lanes very well while taking down all these neutral objectives. TL certainly looking in fine form today.
I have to agree. I guess that's the Pokemon. We take all the monsters off the map, because they got the Rift Herald too, right? So TL, not a perfect game, but hey, this is a team that's been chasing it all split long, and we'll call that pretty close as they win yet another decisive game.
And it's Impact showing another pick that this one, I think, is something people maybe have to worry about a little bit more. You know, to Huni's credit, Huni was certainly winning in that 1v1. He was getting laning advantages, but overreaching Impact punishes him. And Impact did have some very strong engages on the Lissandra. You know, had some that missed the mark a little bit here too, but this is a pick that I think really does kind of fit his style of play. He can play the engage, he can play the map, and really play as that kind of pseudo frontline where he's gonna shine.
And it feels like, again, all the pieces for Team Liquid are there. They play the map well. They've got great enabling players when you think of their top laner and their jungler. They've got Uncle JJ. Sorry, somehow forgot probably the #1 MVP candidate. Don't mind me, he's new to the league. And then, of course, 2 great carries between Jensen and Doublelift. It is a team that feels like they have it all, and it's just a matter of winning another split. And beyond, who knows? To hear more about that showing, though, the Team Liquid duo are standing by for an interview.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Doublelift and Core JJ. Guys, congratulations on the win, and with this win, locking a bye for playoffs. But first off, Doublelift, why are you so BM, man?
Wait, I'm not. My team actually was BM. They're like, let's do Elder and let him end by himself. So they're making me do all the work.
Yeah, okay, well, for you, what was it like? Because you finally got to lock in Vayne on the main stage, and then Clutch Gaming they didn't want to let you have it.
Yeah, they were horny for me that whole game. It was like, I can't play League of Legends, but yeah, my biggest regret is mostly just like, my KDA is ruined now. It must have been nice to play mid and top that game, because Elise was bot for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think also enemy want to kill Peter, and Peter want to kill himself. Yeah, so it was really hard game.
It's true.
Now, for you specifically, you are basically babysitting him in the bot lane. You have to protect him and say, it's okay, I'll try to get you kills. What was that like for you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't save my baby today. Yeah.
Well, baby boy, you play FlyQuest tomorrow, and Turtle has had some pretty good games on Jinx. What do you think about that?
Turtle's playing well. He always plays well, actually. I feel like he goes under the radar a lot since he's not on like the winning team, but yeah, they have a good bot lane, aggressive bot lane, and it should be, like, I think a closer game than this one.
All right, well, guys, thank you guys so much for an always entertaining interview. Best of luck to you for the rest of the week. State Farm Analyst Desks, what do you guys think about the game?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We think that Doublelift recalled in front of the Nexus and said, what do you mean I'm not bad mannered? They told me to do stuff. Okay, sure thing, Peter.
Yeah, buddy, keep telling yourself.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. A lot of interesting things happened, of course. We had Xmithy do a lot of work in the mid lane. We had Lyra's Elise try to put a lot of pressure down bot lane. Some worked, some didn't, certainly. Interesting one. Key thing to point out here is you guys were really talking about, before we got on camera, picking Vayne once you see the Lucian bot lane, fairly cocky.
Yeah, I didn't love that, and I mean, it felt like a little bit wanting to get revenge on Piglet for some of the times that he might have picked Vayne into him, but it's a bit of a difficult lane, and combined with like the early Elise pressure, which you've already seen, it's asking to get dove frequently, and you're saying, I'm gonna outplay that. And that's what happened. And I know there were some other thoughts about the Elise pick in general, though.
Right.
Yeah, well, this dive, why don't you wait for Vulcan to lead this? You have level 3 advantage. It'd be so amazing, but instead, it's just a complete botched execution out of Clutch Gaming. Like, this was such a good idea. I loved seeing this. This is what I expected of Elise. Even if they were at full HP level 3, doesn't matter. But they get punished brutally as a result of it. And just imagine how much more different this game would have been if this didn't happen. By the way, also call that Jensen would get first blood.
Yeah, you called it on Lyra.
Oh, you did call it.
Getting that 1,000 kills.
And it was one of those things where, like, once that goes wrong, like, it's a lot harder to keep making things go right. Like, this dive, they do actually pull this one out because they get onto Smithy, force him away, and then it's too hard to save Double It from this point, so he's going to drop. But at this point, it's 2 for 2 in the bot lane when it could easily be 3 for 0. And you have a winning topside matchup that eventually just starts outscaling the Lissandra. You have, hopefully, what's an even mid lane matchup, maybe down a little bit of pressure, and you're supposed to be blowing this bot lane up, and their execution was just a little too far off to actually snowball the early game.
Right. And what I want to talk about this game is a lot about the Rek'Sai. Being a mid laner myself, I've been camped like that, and Demonte was not having a good time. I believe that Rek'Sai burned his flash, ganked him multiple times, killed him multiple times, and it feels really bad because if you're trying to pressure bottom, but your mid lane's getting pushed in, that means the enemy mid laner is going to come down and stop your pressure. So I like the game plan from Clutch Gaming, but they need to make sure that their mid laner can't keep roaming down to stop these plays. You saw Syndra come down at level 4, change the pace of the game, and it doesn't really work if you don't have mid control when you're trying to control the side lanes. You need that control from mid.
You always got to have mid pressure, but I do think that Xmithie did a great job, and some of it was on Demonte's fault. You just saw the guy fight with your team for the Scuttle Crab, so burning this flash here was something that I think Demonte could have avoided, but every other time it's just Xmithie knowing I have an easy route on Demonte. He doesn't even expect this. Bam, you're right there. Honestly, I think Demonte would have died just to Xmithie alone with a fully charged Fury E, and then once again, another easy kill onto the Orianna, and this is just the power of a mid laner that can set you up and having a Rek'Sai that can also transition so well into the team.
Right, and just a big thing to notice with this is it's a giant mental game. Their jungler has been camping me. Now I'm upset at that jungler. You'll see him burning ultimates throughout the lane phase to try and get back at him. You're kind of like, hey, stop camping me, dude. But it doesn't happen, and Xmithie just basically walks all over Demonte.
Has that worked with you when you throw out the abilities? Like, you know what?
I've definitely done that before where a jungler camped me a lot. I'm like, all right, I hate this guy. I'm just going to use everything on him, ignite him, try and kill him. And usually it never works out in my favor. But it's definitely a mental game thing that does happen.
But it feels good.
It feels good just doing the damage. But the jungler is killing me, and I'm not killing him, so it feels bad.
And the crazy thing was, in that fight, I think it was a 4 for 3, so it was a really close game. And that's after Huni failed dive top and killed himself. That's after all this Demonte stuff, and it's after their bot lane failed to make their plays work. So I think if you look at, like, if you played 5% better this game, you probably actually win as Clutch. Well, maybe not win, because Team Liquid's very hard to actually take down, but they have a much more difficult job of actually coming back in that game.
Yeah, I want to call back out. We had the graphic earlier, but the fact that Xmithie had lower proximity to Jensen at 14.3 than Lyra had to Vulcan down in the bottom lane at 16.5. So less time spent, and you saw 3 or 4 kills come through, flashes burned that, like, maybe prevented the roam to bot lane earlier, as you were mentioning, getting all that pressure. While you're seeing Lyra's like foibled dives, where the first one is a 2 for 1 against them.
I also think that you can look at that the other way, where Doublelift is saying, oh, I'm getting camped by Elise. She's down here for 15 minutes. If he's feeling that way and the proximity is almost the same to Xmithie in mid lane, how's Demonte feeling?
Yeah.
You got 2 people down there. This is now, oh, well, all right, I'm mid lane alone against Syndra Rek'Sai. I've got nobody. What am I going to do?
Right, and they don't even win that 2v2 either. You have triple mages on the red side versus an 80 jungler and double mage. So everyone on the left side can go merc treads, everyone on the right side cannot, because it makes it a lot more awkward. And it's just, you don't win that 2v2 anyway.
Yeah, like you said, you were talking about potentially Jarvan instead. Equally strong level 2 and level 3 type ganks. Maybe doesn't get out of the turret quite as easily, but then transitions much better in the mid to late game, where Lyra became completely useless.
Yeah,
in the
you're already
fights.
playing double mage. Yeah, definitely agree. Either way, that's the way it happens. Clutch Gaming had a hard schedule. There's the first loss, kind of expected. That does it for us with Game 2. Echo Fox and Cloud9 face off next when we return.